Hey, you guys, I'm Lisa from theScore eSports, and I'm here with Team Liquid's coach, Locodoco. Thank you for doing this.
Hi, Lisa. I'm glad to be here too.
Wow, way to be very sincere.
I'm trying my best.
All right, okay, let's just dive right into it. I wanted to ask, Team Liquid was here in Las Vegas playing the third place match.
Yeah.
So it's unfortunate that you guys weren't playing on the final stage. So what was the team's mindset coming into the third place match against Immortals?
Despite how badly we performed, our mindset going into the match was pretty good. We stumbled a little bit towards the end, but yeah, like after the loss, we handled it really well. The guys came together and everyone was focused on playing really hard for third and fourth.
Preparing for this series, Immortals faced TSM the week before and they lost pretty bad. Were you surprised by that result?
So we scrimmed both Immortals and TSM. I thought TSM would put up a way better fight than most people were expecting, but I can't say I expected a 3-0.
And maybe did that affect how you guys prepared for Immortals in this series, maybe?
No, not at all. Well, we knew they'd be forced to adapt and they couldn't run Lucian top again, but I mean, it affected it a little bit. We definitely took a lot of stuff from what TSM did going into our match versus Immortals. So yeah, I guess it does affect it.
And in this series, we saw Team Liquid kind of played a bit messier than what we're used to. So why do you think that happened?
So we actually had really, really great scrim results, and it's pretty internal, personal stuff. So I won't go into detail, but we weren't able to replicate what we did in scrims on stage, and we know the exact reason why. When most teams say, "Oh, our scrim results aren't translating onto stage," it's just like a bullshit excuse. But we know exactly what the problems are, and I know what solutions to implement.
A lot of people were wondering whether the fact that a lot of the team players are rookies, did that kind of play a factor in how you guys played?
So them being rookies, sometimes they don't even seem like rookies, especially Dardock. But playing on big stage and also being in Vegas and being in like an environment where there's a lot of distraction did affect some of the rookies, and that's something I really want to fix.
So also coming out of this series, what's the main lesson that you guys kind of can take home and fix?
Make sure we're really strict about things and make sure guys are 100% focused on the game, and yeah, make sure we can just perform to our best, because that's all that we're here to do. Make sure we kick some ass.
And how are the guys dealing with the loss after that? Like, I know it must be rough, but how are they taking it?
They're taking it a lot better than when we lost versus CLG.
Okay.
And usually we don't really talk about our match after. So what will happen is if you ever do lose a best of 5 like this, I'll just give the guys a day off. So like today's their day off, and I'll go back, watch the games with comms, and then I'll write down my notes, and I'll have more of a better idea on what went wrong exactly. Because if I also talk to them right after the game, I'm also very emotional, and watching the game at my house over a VOD with the communication and taking notes and really thinking about what went wrong and what happened in prep and what happened on stages, you come to a way better conclusion. So I have a decent idea. Whenever we get back to LA, I'm going to rewatch the games, rewatch it with comms, and yeah, come to a really good solution.
You mentioned how, you get a little emotional sometimes watching it too.
Yeah.
So how do you separate, your personal feelings and your professional responsibilities?
Oh, so I've been in esports for a long time now, and my personal life is very non-adequate for most people. So I gotten really, really good at separating esports and like my personal life, where I can be full work mode, friend of players, and friend with coworkers, and I can be full like personal mode, not friend of players.
But it gets frustrating, when you see your team like messing up or making a mistake.
Oh, so funny story. When we lost versus CLG, have you seen Star Wars Force Awakens?
I actually haven't. Tell me the context.
Okay, so there's a character named Kylo Ren, and then he is like a very angsty person, and then once he gets upset, like he destroyed like a control panel. So when we lost versus CLG, like my video editor said you went full Kylo Ren. Like I smashed keyboards, knocked down chairs, and then banged my head against the wall. Like I got all the emotions out. And when the guys came in, I was just like, "Hey, guys."
So they don't know that you did that?
They figured out eventually, and people told them, and I also told them too. But yeah, like I can get really emotional, but I can also bring it back.
Now, I want to talk to you about drafting strategies. I'm curious to do you think drafting strategies have changed since maybe last season to this season?
Players are being more and more well-rounded last season, It was more about, oh, there's a player on their team that we can just sniper ban out of the game entirely. And nowadays, that's not as prevalent, and people have a better read on the meta. So sometimes it's more of a formality than a actual like strategic like mental fight. Um, there's only a few drafts that I can remember where I was like, oh, we really outdrafted them because we thought up a strategy that they didn't know. But most of the time, it's people are just behind on the meta and you're ahead on the meta, and then they just pick wrong champions.
I feel like champions now are being built to be more versatile, like flexible,
Yeah.
and then players are also now learning to, play a bunch of different champions. Do you feel like that is good? That's a good thing for the game?
So if you look at the original champions, they have a very defined framework for the champions. So you get 3 damaging abilities and 1 utility ability. So back to like the original 40 champions. Like you have something like Annie. Her Q, W, and R are damage abilities. Her E is a utility ability. It doesn't do damage. Same for Anivia. Same for Karthus. Like just all the old champions. And then Brand was the first champion that broke the rules in that framework where he had 4 damage spells. And then after that, it was like free game. They started making more and more resourceless champions. Champions that transform have 6 spells and an ultimate. So yeah, champions nowadays come super overloaded in terms of kit and what they can do. And it is actually, I think, better for the game that these champions can do a lot of stuff because it gives players more options and more options for outplay, better decision making. When there's more decisions to be made and more ways you can use spells, it makes for a more complex and interesting game. And in terms of flex picks, I think when there's key flex picks that are really good and there are few, then it's really good for the game. But if you have like 3 or 4 flex picks, it makes draft so messy, and I do not like it at all.
Yeah, it makes your job much harder.
It's not about it harder; it's just messy because you deal with weird scenarios where I guess it does make it harder, but it's harder in like an annoying way.
Yeah. So for Team Liquid, when you guys are drafting, what is the main priority for you guys?
Oh man, are you working for some of the other teams?
No, no. You guys are done for this season. It's okay.
It's making sure we have so every team has certain rules that they play by. Certain teams have, we must have 3 range champions and 2 melee champions, for it to be a well-rounded out comp. Or they have rules like, okay, whenever we play champion, hyper carry that's AD, we want 3 AP champions in the other roles. So like they all have like really really set rules that they draft by. Like we have our own set rules too, but I can't tell you.
That's fair. Maybe in terms of priority, is there maybe a champ that you think should be really like high prioritized right now?
Okay, right now in the meta, I think carry junglers are extremely strong. I think Ryze and Azir are extremely strong. I think Echo Maokai are extremely strong. So there's these power picks that are extremely strong.
I wanted to ask, why do you think we haven't seen many Sivir comps in NA? Because I know other regions, it's like a high priority. Why in NA is it not a thing?
So in Korea, it's very, very based around rotation, and the bottom lanes, they're actually way more passive than the NA bottoms, because NA bottoms, they tend to pick a lot of range supports like Janna and Karma. What these champions bring are very, very strong dominance in lane. So if you're running like a Janna Callista and you're running a Sivir and you go into a Janna Callista lane, it's not going to end up pretty. So, but now that more and more NA teams are playing melee supports, I think teams could be running a lot more Sivir, but the season's almost over.
That's true, and the patches are unchanged. But speaking of supports, kind of the same idea. Like Braum is a really powerful pick, but we're only starting to kind of see it in NA. Why is NA so like behind on picks almost like meta picks?
Okay, so I do think I actually know the 2 people that are responsible for this.
Who?
Okay, so one is Adrian because he loves Janna Karma and Soraka, and he had a really great season on those champions. So usually you try to emulate like what's winning in the region. Like, okay, we're getting shit on by Janna and Karma. Let's pick up Janna and Karma. And then the other person is Piglet. Piglet's an extremely strong laner. I think he's the best in the world in terms of bottom laning. The best. Like, I can stand by that statement.
In the world.
In the world. Okay. And he's very lane dominant player, so he wanted a lot of Janna and Karma picks, and he had great success on it. And just being able to peel for Piglet was instrumental in a lot of our wins. So yeah, like I feel like our bottom was one of the strongest bottoms, Matt and Piglet, and they ran a lot of Janna Karma comps because Piglet wanted to, and Immortals ran a lot of Janna Karma comps because Adrian wanted to, and they were the best team. So you have the best team running a lot of Janna Karma, the best bottom lane running a lot of Jaina Karma. So everyone's like, okay, Jaina Karma's good, so let's run a lot of Jaina Karma.
So you're blaming these guys.
I'm not like blaming them, and like they were wrong. I was wrong on a lot of picks too throughout the season. I don't need to say which ones, but I was wrong a lot throughout the season. It's a learning experience, and then no one really blames Piglet for it because he played extremely well, and us having range supports and being able to peel for him, yeah, it did get us so many wins. So we just learned a little bit, but it's okay.
Now, I kind of want to touch on your coaching.
Yeah.
What's the difference between coaching veterans like
Yeah.
Piglet and then new rookies like Dardoch and the other guys?
Oh man, Dardoch argues like a veteran. I mean, with rookies, it's more of like teaching them how to play the game, and making sure they have really strong fundamental basics that they weren't able to pick up in solo queue, and they can build off of that, and just telling them like basically how to live their life and be a good esports player. And then with veterans, it's about killing bad habits, having discussions, and I trust my players a lot in terms of picks and what they tell me. So it's always like a mutual respect. Like you tell me and I trust you, but when you're wrong, I'll tell you, and then you have to trust me.
So what are the main differences from last year when you coached TSM to now coming on to Team Liquid and coaching them?
I don't think environment is actually that big of a difference. I do think I became a lot more mature. I became smarter, and I became more self-critical.
So you've grown yourself as a coach.
Yeah, it's so weird like hearing myself as coach, because like outside of like esports, like I'm a pretty like emotional, like personal, like go lucky person, do whatever I want, and like coach is like it comes with so much like authority, like respect and maturity, and like I try to be that figure like when we are like in practice mode, but like hearing people call me coach is like so weird.
Did you ever see yourself as a coach when you were playing before and then like look at you now? Right?
No, I never thought of myself as a coach. Like it was more of like I did do a lot of coaching stuff in the teams I was in, like draft and like reviews and stuff, because I wanted to win and I had really good game knowledge. But yeah, like the mature, like responsible authority figure is something that I work really hard to be.
Are you enjoying it now though?
I enjoy winning. I enjoy working hard. I enjoy seeing players grow, but I don't enjoy being mature.
What do you think? Is that the hardest part of being a coach for you? I just realized.
Yeah, it's being mature.
Okay, now it's pretty much the off season for you guys. So what does the team have in terms of what are they gonna do in the off season?
So we're gonna take a 2-week break, and then after that we are gonna have a Korean boot camp.
Korean boot camp.
Yeah, for about a month.
All right, and what can you the fans? What can you tell them that will make them understand? Like you guys are gonna come back next season. What are you guys gonna work on? How are you guys gonna come back stronger for next season?
We're gonna be really, really strict, be more structured, and make sure we don't leave things up to chance, because a lot of things were left up to chance this year, or this split, due to us having rookies and me starting too late and me not being as strict as I should be. But not a lot of things are going to be left up to chance, and yeah, there won't be any excuses. Just show up.
All right, thank you so much, Locodoco. And you guys, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, be sure to check out the rest of our content on our channel.